This is the diagram that I use to help keep me organized when I pack so I can remember where I put everything last time. Here's what I put in my backpack, and I'm gonna actually pack it so that you can see how I do that. And I use the REI Flash 55. One of the things that drew me to this backpack was the fact that it has just the one big compartment that you stuff everything in. So the first thing that I do is I line my backpack with a black contractor trash bag. And that helps everything stay dry because I hike a lot in Georgia and you never know what the weather is going to be like in Georgia. So the first thing that I do is I just shove it down in the bottom like that. And I do not very often carry the tent. I either hike with my husband and he carries it, or I hike with my sister, who's Yaya, and she carries it, and we distribute things between the two of us to make it weigh the right amount. And so I don't ever solo hike, but if I did, I would put the tent in the very bottom. And that is on the diagram here. It shows the tent on the very bottom if I were to carry it. So hopefully I will not ever be alone in the woods. So I start by putting my sleeping bag in the very bottom. And this is a Dyneema zipper storage bag. It's actually called a pod, and it's by Hyperlight Mountain Gear. And it is holding my Catabatic 22 flex bag. It's also holding my sleep liner, and all the links to that are in my Appalachian Trail gear list. Those links will also be in the description. So the first thing I do is I shove my sleeping bag down in here. You just kind of get a good grip on it, and you just do a lot of shoving on the pack for backpacking, and it slides right down in there. And the
so there's no compartments in here?
Nope, no compartments.
Okay.
It's just one big open thing. A huge thank you to my oldest daughter who is videoing for me. And then I color code everything. And so you can also, there'll be a link in the description to a checkoff list for packing, because there's 12 of us in my family. I have 6 kids, 3 in-law kids, and a grandbaby. And so that's 12 of us. And so we often will go on outdoor adventures together. And so I made a little checkoff list for everyone to check off. And so I color coded some of the items. So everyone puts their clothes in the green bag, and on the top of it, it will say, you know, April's clothes bag or Tiffany's clothes bag. So the clothes go right next to the sleeping bag. So when you're shoving it down, you just kind of reach to the side and you move it over, and then you shove your clothes down right beside it. And they'll go right down there at the bottom, and you just keep pushing until you feel like the sleeping bag's on one side and the clothes are on the other. Okay? And then the next thing I shove in are my pillows. And I have a real pillow problem. I'm just gonna admit that. Like, I need to go to pillow camping rehab because I take 4.
It's hereditary too. I have the same problem.
So I love my pillows. I use a Sea to Summit pillow between my legs. I use the Trekology pillow because it has a strap and goes around my pad. And then it elevates my head. I put one of the thermarest up here, and the other one I prop up my elbow on. So I know that's
Hey, it's a priority. This is what you make this work for you.
If I were to have a comfort thing in my backpack, it would be pillows. Okay, so the next layer after the sleeping bags and the clothes, I have this layer here that's my pillow problems, and my Nemo tensor pad, and my anchor charger. And you can see these items clustered sort of in the middle of my backpack. Okay, so then I pack the next layer. So I just kind of fill around and fill where the empty spots are, and I shove the pillows in. And then I put my Nemo tensor in here as well. And I start shoving in the pillows. And you can see how those will all fit. And it really is just a matter of shoving and layering. And then I have my anchor charger. I keep my anchor charger in here with the cord in a Ziploc baggie for even more water protection. And the anchor charger will charge my iPhone 4 times. So, and it's kind of heavy. For shorter trips, I also have a Pocket Juice charger, and it weighs half the amount that the anchor does, and it goes in the same spot. All right, so the last layer on top of the inside compartment will be my tool bag and my cook stove and my hygiene bag and my food. Okay, and my food is divided up. So This is the food that will have like my dinner and the food for the next day. But when I start a hike in the morning, I actually store some of my food in my pockets and in my outside hip belt pockets and in the top lid, which some people call the brain. So some of my food is scattered for easy access for the first day. But then the rest of it that's not until the next day or for that night when we set up camp is in my food bag. So that's the next layer to go in. And again, it's just a lot of like pushing and shoving to see where those items fit the best. I typically put the food in last, next to the cook stove on top. And it just normally fits right there at the top, like that. And then I pull this up, the contractor bag, and I fold it in twice, and I roll it down. And then I pull this part up and over it, and I fold that down as well. And then it clips. And then I work on my outside pockets in the brain. Okay, so in the top lid, or the brain, some people call it, it folds over the top of this. And I don't cinch it down until I put my stuff in it so that it's easier to access that. I almost always put a pair of gloves in the top, unless it's like the dead of summer and I know I'm not going to use those, then I will X-nay on the gloves. I might put my rain jacket in the top. And then I put my food for the day in the top so that after I run out of my snacks and stuff in my hip belt pockets and my pants pockets, I can easily stop on like a potty break and pull a few more items out without opening up the inner bag. So I put in my food, my breakfast and lunch for that day. And I set that up, and then that snaps down here. So then you have the whole inside compartment pack. And so these are the items I put on the outside for easy access. I put my potty bag and my map in the front. There's this big, the REI Flash has this big mesh pocket in the front, and I slide down the map, which I always print off a portion of the map. So I laminate our trail maps each time, and then I slide them in the outside pocket because then I can ask for another hiker to like, hey, grab my map and let's see where we are. And if we slip off our backpacks for a potty break, I can grab my potty bag really quick. Okay, so one of the things I love about my REI Flash 55 backpack is it has 2 layers of side pockets that I love. So I put a liter bottle in each of the side pockets on either side. So in this outside pocket here, I will put things I need to grab really quick, like my first aid kit, and I keep things in my first aid kit, like medications if I start to get a headache or a leg cramp or things like that. Those medications are close by. It slides right in the side. And then on the other side pocket, I always also keep my Crocs. These are my camp shoes, and I use a piece of Velcro loop here, and I just got that at Walmart. It's just a continuous Velcro, and it holds my shoes on the outside. So I slide, again, a smart water bottle on the outside, so I carry 2 liters of water at a time. And then on this big outside pocket, I keep a rain cover for my pack. And a lot of people think that's overkill to have everything lined on the inside and also have a rain cover, but I don't think you can ever be too careful with trying to keep your stuff dry, especially when the temperatures can drop at night. You really want to be able to pull out dry clothes and a dry sleeping bag every night to stay cozy, especially if the weather gets cold. And then another thing that I put in the outside pocket is my water filter. This is a Catadine bee-free water filter, so it's super lightweight. And I slide that in the outside pocket, so when we stop to filter water, easy access right here. And then in this hip pocket here, I have my headlamp and my ID and my mace and a knife, or just a really small pocket knife. And then on the other one, right here, we talked about earlier how I have snacks, and I put some nuts generally, and a Cliff Bar, and a little packet of electrolytes, and I just slide those in for easy access during the day right there. And then the last thing that I put on, or this little piece of gear, It's 1 ounce and it's made by Z-Pack and it's just a sit pad. And so I will shove this anywhere on the outside. Most of the time that will fit just right back here. It'll slide in. Here it can also fit in one of these side pockets here. It's so nice when you take your backpack off to throw this down first if it's kind of a muddy day, and you can also sit on it if there's like a log to sit down and have a snack. Then it kind of keeps your pants clean, especially since I've started only taking 1 pair of pants. So I put on the same pants each day on the 2nd and 3rd days of the hike to cut down on my weight of clothes. And so you want to keep them as clean as possible so you're not sitting in stuff like dirt and mud especially. So I have that. And then depending on the temperatures, I will either take this cell phone pad or this one. And the difference is this one has a higher R value. And it has a little bit more cushion to it. And so I have these straps that I added on the back of my backpack. They open like this, and you can just put them on like this. And snap it there. Whoop, timber.
It's just the angle of it. You're hardly ever at this angle.
There you go. Just have it up on the table so you can see it better. And then these just tighten up. And it hangs off the back like that. Or if it's summertime and I want to save the ounces, I think this is 14 ounces and this is only like 2 or 3, then I'll just pull this on. It does the same thing. It protects your inflatable pad. So my Nemo Tensor, it gives it a little bit of extra protection and a little bit of R value too if it's cold. And this also, both of them really can double as like a yoga mat or a sit pad when you stop. And that is how I pack my backpack. This is what is in my tool bag. I keep a light stick because I'm scared of the dark, an extra lighter. I use these Thermacare heat wraps on my back after hiking a long day and because I'm very cold natured and sleep cold, and it helps me to sleep really warm. And especially on cold trips, I take saline spray and tissues because in the morning sometimes I have a really stuffy nose. And I take a hottie per night to put at the foot of my sleeping bag. And in here I have a baggie and it has an extra set of shoelaces in case my shoelace rips, a little bit of duct tape on a popsicle stick, extra batteries for my headlamp, and some patches for my inflatable mattress. Those are just some 3M patches. So that's what's in my tool bag. And this is all I carry in my hygiene bag is toothbrush and toothpaste. I do carry these dental floss picks. I carry a tiny little tweezer in case I need to pull a tick off, an extra hair rubber band and fingernail clippers, deodorant and powder, a hairbrush, and a chapstick. This is my cook stove setup. I have a MSR pocket rocket, and I always keep a handkerchief with my cook stove stuff. I have my spork and a lighter and a Jetboil fuel pack, and that is my Toke's pot. It is 1.5 liter capacity because I like to cook ramen noodles in it. And it comes with that handy dandy orange bag, and it all fits in and nestles in to the pot, so it packs up really nice. So my first aid is super simple. I have an assortment of medicine, aspirin, Tums, and Benadryl, anti-diarrhea, Advil, Aleve, and Tylenol. I take some KT tape in case my knee acts up, and I have extra batteries in here also. I keep an emergency blanket always, and a few bandages, a knee band-aid and some regular finger band-aids, a couple of individual packs of Neosporin. I got those on Amazon. And then I wrapped some Luca tape for blisters on an old broken ruler that I found in my kids' school supply, and that just ended up working perfect to hold a little bit of Luca tape. And I have it all contained in my little first aid pouch. So that's super simple. And this is the content of my potty bag. I have a shovel, and I use these are actually for dog poop, but they have an odor eliminator. And so I put the used wipes and toilet paper in there. And I always carry a handful of Huggies baby wipes and then a little bit of toilet paper and some hand sanitizer. And that's all just in my blue potty bag pouch. You gonna smile?
Smile. Let me see you. Let me see. Good
My
job.
little helper today.
Who is this?
Who am I?
Mimi.
Okay, so the checklist that I use for my family adventures that I give to each of my kids, where we have the color-coded bags, this checklist and this, goodbye little helper, and this image of my backpack visual aid there'll be a link to it in the description. So you can click on it, and it's a free printable if this might be helpful for you. Are you okay, buddy?
We're good. He just bonked his head. He's fine.
So that's how I pack my backpack. I hope that's helpful to somebody. It took me a while to get my system down, and I know that everyone will have a different backpack and everyone will have different packing needs. So you just kind of have to get your system down. For me, it helps to write it down. Do you like this mat?
Yeah.
Can we bunk one head?
You did.
Your head? So it's super lightweight. We like it for beating grandchildren. So can you say the end?
The
No, right here. Look at the video. And say the end.